Trello or Notion? Which one is the better project management software? That's a question that's ran through my mind, and it's changed a few times actually because I'm not quite sure. I think it depends on the person. So let me just dive right in and show you guys the difference between these two softwares, some of the similarities, and what I think makes each one better than the other. Let's get right into it. Now guys, I am digging back into my old Trello boards right here, and the first thing that pops out to me is I wasn't super organized, so I totally apologize. When you first open Trello, you're presented with the opportunity to create a board, okay? So I'm just gonna create a board. So let's say we are creating a schedule, okay? So I used to call this my battle plan, so I'm just gonna call this battle plan. And so I don't confuse the old document, I'm just gonna name it battle plan V2. Now, the cool thing that you can do right off the bat is you can add an image in the background. What I like to do usually is just put something motivational in the background. You can hit see more on pictures. You can do a search for something that motivates you. So if you're like into cars or something like that, you can just type in like Tesla. I wonder if they have Tesla on here. Yeah, they do. Cool. So like if your goal is to get a Tesla, maybe you throw that in the background, right? Just kind of keeps it's kind of like a vision board, kind of keeps it on your mind. I don't know. Sometimes I think that's a little bit cheesy to kind of like post stuff like that up, but for some people it works. So let's get into it. This is how I would create my battle plan. First of all, I'd add a list right here, and this list is going to have, it's going to have like my focuses. Okay, so the things that I'm like really focused on, and then I'll do like a Monday, Tuesday. I'll do something like that, right? So I've got focuses, I've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, weekend, okay? So within here, you can add cards. So these are lists, right? You can add cards within these. And this, I believe, is called a Kanban board. And Notion has Kanban boards too. I just think that this one probably looks better. You know, I'm gonna show you guys what Notion looks like in a minute for doing something similar to this. It looks different. It does the same thing. So for focuses, you're going to add a card for every focus. So you're going to enter a title. So let's say you're going to add 3 focuses. So one of them might be like workout. And then you could add some sort of some goal that you want to hit, 3 times per week. Add that. And then post 3 YouTube videos per week. Something like that. And maybe I want to like revamp my website. Trello is kind of for like people that just care about how it looks more, I think. That's my opinion. But they do stand their ground in their cards here. So when you click on a card, you can actually add so many different things in here. And they even have power-ups. If you get the pro version of Trello, you can add different power-ups that allow you to they're basically like apps that go over top of Trello. Okay, so you can add things like there's already due dates on here, but I think you can add one that's like syncs it with your calendar or something like that. There's a whole bunch of power-ups. Like if you hit get power-ups, it'll load them up. And look at all these like little apps you can add on top of Notion, or not Notion, Trello, excuse me. Look at all these little apps you can add on top of Trello. Pretty cool, right? So I haven't used a ton of these, but I know like if people that are big into like project management in Trello, they will use these for different things. But really you only need these main ones. Okay, so if you have a due date, this doesn't have a due date, work out 3 times per week. It's more of like a habit. What I would do for something like this is just add a checklist. So maybe you have like workouts, and then you have like arm day, chest day, leg day, something like that. And that would add, a nice little checklist in here. You can do all sorts of things with these little add to card buttons. You can add a description. So you can say, maybe you want to go like arm day, and on arm day, you want to do 3 by 12 curls. And then you want to do 3 by 12 dips. All right, I'm just entering random stuff right now, guys. This is not my actual workout plan. But what I'm showing you is you can kind of drill down and like write some details about like what you want to do with your workouts. There's just a quick example of how I used to use Trello for like workout planning, right? So you've got like your workouts in here, you can check them off. And you also have like just a list of plan basically for your workout. So that's kind of cool. And then revamp my website. Now this one is one that you could actually put a due date on. You could click in this and you could go due date, and you can choose a day that you want to have this done by, right? So let's say the 8th, right? You can set reminders and things like that. So that's kind of nice. Save that. And as you can see, it now has that little clock right there. So there's lots of things that you can do with cards. That's my point. And another cool thing you can do is move these cards from certain boxes. So for focuses here, I'm actually not going to be moving these because these should stay here. But let's say I have like some tasks in here. I remember what I used to do is I used to have morning routine, and then I would actually go into there and my checklist, I'd add a checklist, and then I would do like workout, something like that, and like I would come in and check off my morning routine every single morning. And you can actually just duplicate these, copy, and then I'm going to put it in Tuesday. I'm going to create card, and as you can see, like that's a really good way to just duplicate your morning routine throughout all these days. And I would just do that for like all the days if I have something that's like that happens over and over again. But what you can also do here is, let's say you have different goals related to your focuses throughout the week. You can color code them. And this is really useful because it shows you if you're actually working on the things that are important, right? So maybe revamping my website, I need to write content for homepage of website. So this is a goal. This would be a task for this goal. Now, if I come in here and hit edit labels, I can add a label to this. So maybe our website label is just going to be this orange one right here. So everything that has that orange label on it is website related. And that just goes to show that I'm actually working on things throughout the day that are related to my goals. All right, so for this one, I'm going to go red. For this one, I'm going to go purple. Okay, you can add multiple labels. So maybe you have another goal in here of meditate 10 minutes per day. And maybe this goal is going to be, well, maybe we go with a blue. Okay, so for the morning routine, we have meditation and working out in there. So I'd hit edit labels, and you can go like that. You can add both of them, all right, because your morning routine is related to this, and it's related to this one here. Writing content related to revamping the website. Plan and film new Trello versus Notion video. That'll be red, right? So really cool, and this is just a great way to basically get things done. And then if you have micro tasks within this, like plan and film new Trello versus Notion video, you can go in again and you can add a checklist. Okay, so like your micro tasks would go in here. All right, and then when you're completely done with these, you can always just click this and you can click archive, right? So you complete things throughout the day, you archive them. What happens if you don't complete something though? Well, you can simply drag it over to the next day. So if I didn't write my content for the homepage for the website on Monday, then I would drag it over to Tuesday and so on. Now let me show you what this looks like if you were to do it in Notion. Now Notion, as I said, it still looks pretty good, but I just don't think it looks as good as Trello. There might be a little bit more functionality, a little bit more customizable. There might be a few more things that you can customize in this, but for the most part, I think it's a little bit stronger. It just doesn't look as good. So we have a similar setup here. My North Star is what I think of as like my big goal in Notion. And that's a drop down that I have where I list out like what my North Star means to me, like what things I need to complete in order for this thing to be real, becoming the best marketing agency in Michigan and beyond. I need to rank the highest in the top 5 cities for city-based keywords like Kalamazoo web design, Detroit web design, things like that. I need to have a case study funnel that's running profitably in my eyes, and I need to have 100 plus happy customers. All right. So I have my North Star, my big goal right here. And that's kind of what I think of as like this focuses section, right? And then under year, I have like goals that are drilled down from the North Star. So I have goal, habit, because for every goal, I want to build a habit.
And then after the year, we have a single monthly goal that derives from the yearly goals. And then the day-to-day goals we put in here as tasks. And these are essentially what we need to do to complete our monthly goal. Okay, so here I would add in to-do list, and I would just write out like start the content for homepage. And I can put one in that's like write and plan first log. And then I can even duplicate this if I have a similar task, and I can just say second. All right, and then it works the same. You know, if I were to complete this on Monday, that's cool. I can drag it to my archive. But let's say I don't complete Tuesday's task. Well, I could simply drag that over to Wednesday. Actually, I don't want to make it a sub item of Wednesday, but I'll drag it over to Wednesday, and so on. So you could just go in here and put in your schedule throughout the week. Now, up until this point, we've just talked about like one side of Notion. Trello is really standalone. This is what it is. This is what it does. Notion, there are many ways that you could actually do your schedule. In fact, they have like lots of templates in here. If you go to like personal, this is the one that I was inspired by for my weekly agenda. You can also go into like travel planner. If you click travel planner, you can go super in depth with Notion. There's a lot that you can do. As you can see, you can create tables and things like that. And you can also go into here and make different views. So you've got like day 1, day 2, you've got calendar. Okay, and you can set all of this stuff up custom. So I personally think that as a scheduling tool, you know, Trello, super easy, beginner friendly, fun to use. Notion, you can do a few more things. It's not as user friendly, but it's definitely more customizable as a scheduling tool. Now let me talk about them as project management tools. So if I was going to use Trello as a project management tool, I would create a new board, and let's just make it orange this time, and I'm just going to call it no team. I'm going to call it project 1. Okay, like I'm not going to go in depth on like making an actual project. I'm just using this as an example. So I'm going to create the board. So let's just imagine this project is actually YouTube videos. Okay, so all the YouTube videos that we're creating. So there's a few stages that a YouTube video goes through, right? There's the ideas phase, where it's just an idea. And then there's the stage of a video where it is in outlining, like you kind of, or like planning, I suppose we should call it. And then from there, we go into filming. And then after that, it's editing. The cool thing about using Trello for this is you can actually just enter a title of the video. Like if you just spur an idea, or you're doing some keyword research and you find a great YouTube video idea, you could, for instance, just write it right in here. So if I'm making a video on how to use Trello versus Notion, I would just say how to use Trello versus Notion. All right, something along those lines, and that is a video idea. Boom. Once I start taking this idea more seriously, I can drag it over to planning. I can hit this card right here, and then I can start writing, like, for instance, outline. And then maybe I start the video by comparing, or maybe I just do like an intro first, and then I compare scheduling, and then I compare project management, and then, for instance, I might do something like at the end of the video, like a final verdict. Okay, hit save. So that's my outline. I could drill down and add like more to this outline. So once you have it outlined, you can then move it to filming once you're ready to start filming, and you can come in here and you can start eliminating some of these things. So when it's in filming, I would actually create a checklist, and the checklist could be something along the lines of film intro, film scheduling, film project management, film final verdict. send to editor. All right, something along those lines, right? And then as I go along, I can check these things off as I'm completing them. Once they're complete, they can move to editing. And then the editor might have a new checklist. Okay, so you can put a second one in here. So you might just write editing. All right, and editing on this checklist, let's just say we have cut the video, add text overlays for sections, add intro. You can assign these individual tasks to people as well, or you can select a due date for each and every one of them. So that is super cool. And then from there, you can also create another checklist once you're in the next stage. Let's say you finish all the editing, and maybe you have posting. Okay, so posting, maybe you focus on keyword research, high quality thumbnail, sharing, all sorts of different checklist items, okay? And at any point in this process, you can add a new list, okay? And you can move these around. So let's say this new list here, I want it to be called posting. I'm just gonna drag that over here, whoop, after editing. And then we have a complete list. So let's say this is finished, editing is finished. Now we need to move it to posting, like so. Posting, finish that up. Right, and then after that, it's complete. So you go to your complete section here. And in the complete section, if you wanted to take it a step further, you could even do like a review on how everything went. Okay, so I would just like write review here in the notes, and then I could just write something along the lines of, this video did well, we should make another one like this. All right, so that's how I would use it as a project management tool, and you can actually share these different tasks, you can add due dates to these different tasks, and this is actually a really solid project management tool. Now in Notion, you can do a very similar thing, okay? I'm gonna go to project, and here we have a very similar setup for tracking how we're doing on videos. So I'm just gonna delete all these out of here. Now this is a table, essentially, but you can look at it in a lot of different ways. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to delete all of these. And what I've done in Notion is I've actually created a template for when I have a new video. So when I have a new video that's coming in, I can just click video name, and then I can enter the video name. So let's just say Notion versus Trello. And then I automatically have a checklist in here that the editor needs to look at, and they can check these things off as they go. I have a link to download all of the videos that they need for this, links them to Google Drive, and I can also share this link, or change this link here, just by highlighting this and hitting link, and then just putting in the new link that I want to use. All right, so essentially that is kind of how I would set it up in Notion. You can also add a quick due date. So let's say the due date is the 14th, and you can add a responsibility. So if you have multiple people within Notion that you're sharing with, you can actually just tack on as many people as you want in here, and you can even put in some notes. So remember to cut the beginning out, something like that. And then, once this video is complete, they can just hit checklist complete. So here's another cool thing about Notion. You can actually change the view of this. So right now it's just set up as like a table, but if you wanted to, you could set it up as a Kanban board, similar to how we did over here in Trello. But first we need to create a video status column in this table. So we need one for ideas, planning, filming, editing, posting, and complete. So let me show you what I'm talking about. We need to click plus right here. We need to highlight over property type, and we need to make it select. And then from there, we can put the name of this, which is video status. Boom. And then we enter all of the options. So idea, editing, filming, complete, posting. All right, and you can actually change the colors of these if you don't like them. I'm just going to keep these for just because I don't think it really matters for this example, but you can click on these and you can actually change the color right here if you'd like to. So Just going to make idea yellow. Filming, we might make it green. Editing, blue. You could do like a progression here, like kind of a color progression to kind of tell you where you're at in the process. All right. So now that we have this, you can change this as the project goes on. And I'm going to move it there. And then if we wanted to, we could actually click up here and we could click add view and then board. Hit create. And then as you can see, we have video status set as the group by up here. So you can group by pretty much anything you want. So you can group it by editing responsibility too if you'd like. So you could put a new, if you had another person in here, you could have all of their responsibilities under one column, all of your responsibilities under one column. And it's really flexible because you can change what it's grouped by. And that's something that I don't think you can actually do with like the out-of-the-box Notion app. So, or the out-of-the-box Trello app. This is starting to look a lot like Trello. I think Trello still looks a little bit nicer, but this is obviously a lot more flexible because you can click into it just as if it's a card, and you can create pages within pages too. So if I wanted to create a new page in here that's like something along the lines of, let's say, videos for inspiration, and maybe I'd want to create, you know, a list of links for videos that we can use as inspiration for this, I could link them in there and it would just be as a page in here, right? So that's pretty cool. And this is how you can kind of use Notion as a Kanban board as well. I believe that's what it's called. There are, of course, some more views in Notion that you can use. You can use calendar, you can use list, you can use gallery. So it's obviously more flexible than Trello, but I would say Trello just looks better, it feels better. And if you don't need something super advanced, it works really well. But if you want something a little bit more complex, Notion might be the better app for you.
As a final verdict, I will say that I really like to use Notion. And I'm actually, now that I've used Trello a little bit more and I got back into using it, I might actually go back to that for a few things just because I really enjoyed using it. It was fun to use, it was easy to use, and it was a lot quicker than Notion is sometimes. But one thing I really do like about Notion is just its note-taking capability, and you just can't take that away from it. So as a note-taking app and as a database app, I just really like Notion. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. I've made videos on how to take notes in Notion. I recommend you check them out if you're a big note taker. If you're into learning new things, Notion is great. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This is something that's just unmatched, in my opinion. So if I go to Notion here, and I go to resources, I go to my all notes. This is my notes database, and this is something that like Notion can do that Trello just simply can't do. So that's like one of the reasons that I really like to use it, right? You can create notes in here, you can tag them, and then you can go in and you can read them later on. So that's why I'm going to be sticking with Notion for like note taking and stuff like that, and I might move over to Trello for some of my project management that's a little bit more lightweight. Probably not like the big heavy projects that need like super drilled down detail, but for the more lightweight projects, I think Trello takes the cake. For more note taking and like in-depth projects that need a lot of customization, Notion is certainly the app you'll want to use. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a comment below and let me know if you did, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. We'll see you in the next one.